Hello, good evening, all of you. Are you hearing me? Yes. Is your school exams completed?
Sir, for us, we don't even know when is our exam.
Okay. For two remaining students, term exams completed first term. Okay, today new chapter, classification of elements and periodicity in properties. Okay. Uh, Listen about this is only periodic table. It is useful for your 10th class class also. In 10th class, we have one of the chapter periodic table. I think here I will give you two depth. Just if at 10th standard level, if you prepare just half of this chapter is enough. So till now, we know 118 elements are known elements are there. Till now, 118 elements are known elements. In these 118 elements, 19 elements or 98 elements are naturally occurring elements. Then remaining elements are man-made elements. Okay, anyhow. So each element having of its own properties, chemical properties or physical properties, and how is their arrangement of electrons in the atom. The study of the about the individual atom is very difficult. That's what we need a one tabular form. So suppose hydrogen element having some properties, helium element having different properties, oxygen having different, nitrogen having different properties. So study of the properties of an element individually, it's a difficult. That's what suppose if we group together all the elements which having the similar properties, so then it will become very easy, right? Suppose in your classroom, suppose 100 students are there. So some students are studying good, some students are okay average, some students are too poor. So in such case, in their in our schools, they are classifying into sections, no? Section A, section B, section C. So here also same. All the known elements are classified. Particular group of elements having some properties and other group of elements having different properties. So that is only we are calling classification of elements. So periodic table we can define the table in which all the known elements are arranged in such a way that the a group of elements which having the similar properties are grouped together, and the element which having the different properties are placed in another group. That's called periodic table. Suppose just I will write few elements: lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, these having same properties. That's what these elements are present in one group. And beryllium, here magnesium, calcium, strontium, this group of elements having different properties. So similar properties of elements are grouped together, and other properties of elements which having these also similar are grouped in, are placed in another group. That is called periodic table. So now we'll see historical development of the periodic table. So the scientist Daubernier, don't write, man, listen first. Scientist name is Daubernier. This scientist arranged the known elements in the increasing order of their, he arranged the elements in a periodic table. In his periodic table, the middle element having the atomic mass mean of the remaining two elements. So in his periodic table, in each group, there are three elements. Suppose element is lithium, sodium, potassium. He arranged these three elements in a one group. What is atomic mass of lithium? Already I gave no atomic mass of elements 7. Atomic mass of lithium is 7. Potassium is 39. What is the average of these two? Average of these two elements. What is the average atomic mass of these two elements?
23.
23, no? So 7 plus 39 divided by 2. It gives 23. So now the atomic mass of middle element is 23. By this way, he given some set of elements. In each set, there are 3 elements. This 3 element set we are calling triad. So this periodic table also we are giving the name Daubernier triad. The atomic mass of the middle element is average of the remaining 2 elements. Okay, however, but his periodic table is not sexist, because this kind of triads we can arrange only few, but all elements do not, which I said no, we have 118 elements. This 118 element do not follow this kind of trend. Only few elements able to follow this trend. That's what this periodic table was failed. So another periodic table is given by the scientist Newland. Next scientist Newland, he arranged all the known elements in the increasing order of their atomic masses. And he observed one thing. The property of the every 8th element is similar to the properties of the first element. This only we are calling Newland's octave rule. Octave means 8 electrons. So property of every 8th element is similar to the property of the first element. That's what it is calling octet rule. So octave. See, I am arranging the elements: lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, sodium, magnesium, aluminum, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, potassium, calcium. So he arranged in his periodic table, these are the elements. Suppose I am selecting this is the first atom. Suppose first atom. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The property of the 8th element, this one, similar to the first element. Suppose you consider this is the first element. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the 8. Right? 8th element. Property of lithium and sodium are similar. So when the elements arranged in the increasing order of their atomic masses, the property of the every 8th element is similar to the property of first element. This is only called octaves law, Newland's law of octaves. Even this law also failed. Reason is, Here this is applicable for only lighter elements, means elements which having the lower mass. If elements having higher masses, those elements do not follow this trend. Okay, this is like a musical note we are calling now sa re ga ma pa dha ni sa. Hmm. Right. You can see again it is repeated here. Yes. Property of here also every eighth element is similar to the first element. Okay. Hmm. Okay, anyhow, first write these two laws. After that, I will give you a new law. Okay, right. Although every element is different from every element different from every other element, right? Some elements have some elements have certain similarities. Certain similarities. Based upon these similarities, based upon these similarities, the scientist, the scientist after numerous attempts, were ultimately successful in arranging the in arranging the various elements into groups. various elements into groups or chemical families. Or chemical families. Now, right, what is a periodic table definition? Periodic table may be defined as the table which classifies all the known elements in accordance with their properties in such a way that elements with similar properties are grouped together in the same vertical column, and dissimilar elements are separated from one another. So this is the definition of periodic table. So this one you have to read, this is just introduction. This is important, everyone should read this definition.
Done, sir.
Okay. Finished all of you? Okay. Next, we'll see historical development of the periodic table. Right, small subheading, historical. Periodic table. Oh, correct. First one is Daubernier triad. Okay. Wolfgang Daubernier. A German chemist. A German chemist. In 1817, made first attempt made first attempt made first attempt towards the classification of elements. So he arranged similar elements in group of 3. This is a Dobbernet trial. He arranged similar elements in groups of 3, similar elements of group 3, and showed that their atomic weights were either nearly the same or the atomic weight of the middle element or the atomic weight of the middle element was approximately the arithmetic mean of the other two. Arithmetic mean of the other two. These groups of 3 elements were called Daubernier triad. Daubernier triad. And this generalization was called law of triad. Okay, that statement completed. Definition of Daubernier triad.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we'll see examples for triads. So once see the statement, he arranged the similar elements in a group of 3 and showed that their atomic weights were either nearly the same or the atomic weight of the middle element was approximately the arithmetic mean of the other two. So now you can observe the trend in his triads. So here I'm writing first triad. Lithium, sodium, potassium. Lithium atomic weight is, we know, 7, and potassium atomic weight is 39, and sodium atomic weight is 23. So you first calculate this one, mean of lithium and potassium. It's coming now here 23.
Yes, sir.
The mean of the other two elements is 23. So same the atomic mass of the middle element. So this is the first triad. Next triad 2. Element is here chlorine. See, okay, atomic mass is 35.5. Bromine, iodine. Calculate mean of these two, and that's only becomes atomic mass of bromine. Calculate quickly.
So 81.5.
81.5.
Sir, I'm getting 81.25.
Okay.
Sorry, sir, 81.25.
Here actually the mass of bromine is 80. So closer value, no. It's not mandatory always to be equal, but if it is in closer value also correct. 127 by 2, you are getting 81.25 now.
Yes.
So actual atomic mass of bromine is 80. So almost is a closer value. Next triad is, so right here, triad 3.
So like this, how many groups are there?
Just 4 groups only. Triad 1, triad 2, triad 3, triad 4. These 4 are enough for this Daubernier triad. So next is calcium, strontium, barium. Calcium 40, strong barium is 137. What is its arithmetic mean? Mean of these two. 40 plus 137 divided by 2.
88.5.
88.5. But the actual mass of strontium is 87.5. Almost closer, no? Then last triad. Then triad 4. So here all the elements having similar masses: iron, cobalt, nickel. Iron is 55.85, 58.93, 58.71. So here we can write atomic weights are nearly the same. So first everyone should by heart that first two triads. In exams also directly asking what is Daubeney triad and 1 or 2 examples. So now what is the limitation of Daubeney triad? I'm writing downside. The major drawback of Daubeney's classification was that the concept of triads could be applied only to a limited number of elements. Therefore, it was dismissed. Okay, that's all. Okay, if you complete that, the next one we'll write Newland's law of octaves. Right, the next historical development of periodic table. Second one is Newland's law of octaves. Okay, now, right, what is Newland's law of octaves? Right. When the lighter elements were arranged, in order of their increasing atomic weights, in order of increasing their atomic weights, the properties of the every eighth element every eighth element were similar to those of the first one. Those of the first one. Like the eighth note of a musical scale. This is only Newland's law of octaves. So when lighter elements arranged in the increasing order of their atomic weights, the properties of every eighth element were similar to those of the first one. Now I am writing here all elements with increasing order of their atomic weight. Lithium is the first, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, and eighth element is here coming sodium. Magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, potassium, calcium. So here properties of sodium are similar to lithium. Even property of potassium also similar to sodium, because you can count from this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So properties of every eighth element is similar to the first element. So write this as it is, write this. Completed? Ashish? Hello? Bonpriya?
Yes, sir.
Completed?
Yes, sir.
Trishala?
Done, sir.
Okay. So this is a very important statement, and this only example you have to arrange from lithium to calcium as this elements arrangement. Okay, after I will write one limitation. So this is also discarded because this Newland's law of octave we can apply for up to calcium only. After that, we can't apply. If some elements having higher atomic mass, 60, 70, 250 also, they're having atomic masses. To those elements, this Newland's law of octave not applicable. Only for calcium, up to for calcium it is applicable. So under this, write limitation. Limitation. This generalization was also discarded. Since it was applicable to only lighter elements, having atomic weights up to 40 units. So up to 40, it's only for calcium. Up to calcium only it is applicable. After that, it's not applicable. Okay. Listen. Next classification of elements was made by Lothar-Meyer arrangement. Just listen. Later you may write. Third one. Yeah, listen here. So during that time, they know only few elements. They did not know all the elements. Nearly 55 or 60 elements were known at that time. First, he studied the physical properties of those elements. He studied physical properties like don't write, listen first. He studied the physical properties of elements. Under that, atomic volume he studied, and melting point and boiling point. So he studied these physical properties of elements. Then he drawn a graph between atomic volume and atomic weight. So atomic weight taking on x-axis, atomic volume on y-axis. Then he drawn a graph. Don't draw, just listen this. He got this kind of graph. Like this, he got graph. No, just small modification. Like this. And he observed that similar properties of elements. So we have some elements, nearly 60 elements are there. In those elements, similar properties of elements occupies the same position in the peaks of the peak on the curve. So here, some elements occupying peak of the curve. These all elements having same properties. Suppose this is the lithium, this is sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium. These are all elements having same properties. After that, in the descending order, some elements are occupied here. These all elements having also similar properties are beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, and barium. And at these positions, also in the ascending position, at this position also some elements occupying that's having similar properties. These are halogens like fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, astatine. So similar properties of elements occupies the similar positions in the graph when we took a graph between atomic weight and atomic volume. So based on this experimental data, scientist Lothar Meyer, he also given one definition for periodic table in his periodic table. When elements are arranged in the increasing order of their atomic weights, the physical and chemical properties of elements are periodic functions of their atomic weights. That is the Lothar Meyer periodic table. Physical and especially physical properties of elements are periodic functions of their atomic mass. This is the Lothar Meyer generalization. So once again, listen. The scientist Lothar Meyer first studied the physical properties of elements. Under the physical properties of elements, he studied atomic volume, melting points, and boiling point. And now he took a graph between atomic weight and atomic volume, and he got like this type of graph. See, you can observe some peaks in the graph. Okay, in this graph, similar properties of elements occupies the similar positions in this graph. If you see The peak of the curve here are occupied by lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium. See, all having the same properties, same physical properties they all have. And also in their descending order, some elements are occupied. Beryllium, here magnesium, here calcium, here strontium, here barium. Even these elements also having same properties. So similar properties of elements are occupied, similar positions on the in the graph. So from this experimental data, Luther Meyer given this generalization. Physical properties of elements are periodic functions of their atomic mass. So physical properties of elements are depends upon their atomic masses. That is Luther Meyer generalization. So based on this, he given tabular form also, but we no need how is his tabular form. Just write generalization and graph. In 1869, Luther Meyer, a German chemist, Luther Meyer, a German chemist, studied physical properties such as atomic volume, melting point and boiling point of various elements. Continuation, right? He plotted a graph between the atomic volume and atomic weights and atomic weights of the elements. And observed that the elements with similar properties occupied similar positions on the curve. Similar positions on the curve. So all of you draw this graph, somewhat bigger graph you draw. Otherwise you will get some confusion. So on y-axis, atomic volume. On x-axis, atomic weight. X-axis, this is y-axis. Now position of elements you have to write. So this point, this is for lithium, Li. This is sodium. This point for potassium, rubidium. This point for cesium. CS, last element is CS, capital C, small s. And here, beryllium, Be. Next, in descending position, this one. Let's take somewhat down. Position for magnesium. This position for calcium. Strontium. Here is the barium. The fluorine. Chlorine. Bromine. Iodine.
Sir, we can't hear you.
Yeah. This is Xe, xenon. Guys, completed all of you this graph?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
now
sir.
just 3 points about that graph, one by one. I'll write and explain carefully. See this. First point is the most strongly electropositive alkali metals. The most strongly electropositive alkali metals lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, and cesium. Occupy the peaks on the curve. Peaks on the curve. Okay, these elements, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, these elements are highly electropositive metals. Means they have a very bigger size also. That's what these elements are occupied peaks of the curve. Lithium, sodium, here potassium, rubidium, cesium. They're having very bigger size. That's what they occupied at higher positions of the peak. Next point is the less strongly electropositive alkali earth metals. Those are beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, and barium.
The bottom part cannot be seen.
Okay. Okay. Occupy the descending position of the curve. Write that point. I'll explain in graph.
Done, sir.
Okay. Okay. So if all of you write that point, see what is a descending order and ascending order? First tell me what is ascending order?
Small to big is ascending and big to small is descending.
Okay, descending. So suppose in the curve, suppose this is the curve. This is ascending order, right? And this is descending order. Yeah. Now see this point. The less strongly electropositive means alkali metals. These are highly electropositive metal. Lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium are highly electropositive. Next, these also electropositive. Beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, and barium also electropositive. But compared to these are less electropositive. These all elements having similar properties. These are occupying on the in the curves during the descending positions, right? See first one, beryllium, descending position. This is beryllium here. And next you can observe magnesium here also. This is the curve of a peak descending order. Magnesium occupied here. In this curve, calcium occupied descending order. See calcium here. And after strontium you can observe this point. And barium here, descending position. I think not visible. Beryllium here, magnesium here, descending position, calcium descending position. In this curve here, descending position, strontium occupied here, and barium, this one, descending position. Okay. Then last point. The most electronegative element, third point. The most electronegative elements, that is halogens. Halogens. Later you will get it. What is halogen meaning? Fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. These are the most electronegative elements. Occupy the ascending position on the curve. On curve. This also on the basis of these observations. On the basis of these observations, Lothar Meyer proposed that the Lothar Meyer proposed that the physical properties of the elements are a periodic functions of their atomic weights. Their atomic weights.
Sir, does these have any limitations?
No, ma, this is somewhat okay, good. But he given periodic table, but that periodic table is not correct. But this generalization. So whatever given here generalization, that is correct. Okay, you can see in the last point, third point, the most electronegative elements, halogens, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, occupy the ascending position of a curve. So this is ascending position, this one, this side one. So you can see element fluorine here, ascending position. Chlorine next, this is also ascending position. Bromine here, ascending position. Iodine also at ascending position. Okay, this is about Lothar-Meyer theory. Lothar-Meyer generalization is correct, but he given some periodic table that is not correct. Okay, guys, in next minute I will give you about a very, very important periodic table as Mendeleev's periodic law and his periodic table. We will see in next class. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir.
Thank you, sir.